Welcome to Subramani. I asked a question on Twitter. What is one single advice that you would give to a 22-year-old starting his or her life? Of course, I've got about 100 answers. And let me go through one by one. It's not that I'm ranking them or anything. I'll read out some of the more important ones. Somebody said don't interrupt compounding, which is a good advice. I'm not saying that is once the best, but I'm saying many people have given a lot of suggestions. So let me just read out, because each person has his or own priority. If you ask me, I would think this answer also keeps changing, because the advice that you need as a 22-year-old is very different from what you need as an 85-year-old. Typically, I met an 85-year-old who said, look, you should have a purpose in life, which is very true, because at 85 he feels that sorry, he doesn't have anything else to do. Then it becomes very boring to live, right? Then you're wondering why people have not called you. It's your birthday, it's your wedding anniversary, or it is Father's Day, Mother's Day, something like that. So you keep wondering why are people calling, not calling, and things like that. So if you have a purpose in life, I think that's very important. To me, if you ask me, the first thing I would tell a 22-year-old is perhaps don't bother about what people think, right? The log kya kahenge should not bother you. Just don't bother. Just be clear in what you want to achieve. If you start worrying about others and trying to please them, you will have a very bad life. So let me now read out what people have said. So first is Vaibhav Chuk saying, save and compound, save and compounding disturb mat karna, don't disturb the compounding and my wealth will grow. So this is good advice for sure. I mean, this is good. Is this the best? I don't know. I'm not ranking. Okay. No one, this is a good one from somebody called Investors Cafe. He says, making you rich is an individual product. Don't think you can outsource this completely. I think it's a fantastic piece of advice to give people. You cannot just say, oh, I appointed this person and he's going to make me rich, or she's going to make me rich. It's going to be very difficult. That person does not have a full-fledged mandate just to make you rich. They've got other things to do, including making themselves rich. So it's not, I'm not saying there is a conflict of interest, but you have to be worried about all those things. If you, in your journey to get rich, remember it's a lonely journey. It's like running a marathon. It's a lonely journey, because somewhere when you are at the top, when you're number one, the number two is nowhere near you. There's no support staff, no nothing. You are running on your own. You might have all that when you're running your practice sessions, right? Somebody is saying invest in a balanced advantage fund for your health and your wealth, and it starts the day you're born. Just the weightage keeps changing. That's right. Don't take a risk which you can put you off the market permanently. That is true. Don't take a risk which will wipe you out. There are people who take that kind of a risk even at an older age. I recently heard of a 58-year-old who wiped out his capital. This is no time to wipe out your capital. You have no ability to build it again, right? So be careful. Don't be old and rich, which Kanjus written all over your face. Now this is what I call bad advice. It's none of your, as an advisor, it's none of your business as to how a person leads his or her life. Each person has a lot of footprint of wealth, right? So father did something, grandfather did something, grandmother did something, because of which it leaves an imprint. So some people are very tight-fisted, some people are very happy to spend money. Now with the husband and wife, if both spend money, then there is no chance of them creating wealth. So one person spends money, the other person controls the purse. That's a good thing to do, right? So some of these combinations will work. Enjoy your 6 months, depend on savings from have insurance, start investing in just an index fund through SIP. Again, good advice. Invest early, invest regularly, invest and keep reinvesting the income. And remember, income minus investment is equal to spending. That's again good advice. Read more and more about money and how it works, says Saurabh Nima. Now, this is good advice, but I think reading is exaggerated. The importance of reading is exaggerated. The importance of reading, understanding, assimilating, and then doing, that is not exaggerated. That is not appreciated enough. Now, one more thing is when I said find a purpose, I find a lot of youngsters who are now maybe in their 30s and 40s who are earning very well, have decided not to have children, and literally have no other purpose of earning. So they don't know why they are earning, but they don't know anything else to do. So they just they are on the treadmill continuously earning 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 1.5 crore, cribbing about taxes, paying 40-50 lakhs as taxes, and wondering what to do because the money is lying in the savings bank account. They are too lazy to invest to indirect equity. They are too busy to think that they should put money in an index fund. So all kind of combination of people you find. So finding a purpose in life is important. Whether to have kids, whether not to have kids, you should have a purpose, because when you don't have a purpose, you will keep on working, creating money, and then end of it wondering whether the whole thing was worth it, right? Invest in equity, have term insurance and health insurance. Too early. First of all, learn about how to invest in equity, then you can invest in. Learn about accounting and tally, and then only things like investment, savings, insurance will make sense, which is true, very good, because creating wealth seems to be a very great process, but it is dull, boring accounting to start with, and then you go into financial management. Invest in equity, have term insurance, have health insurance, read about getting rich, right? So which is the book, the Money Code, and which is the other book which he has recommended. It's something rich, but I can't see. So anyway, life is nothing but a doubling game. Yeah, the book is the Jewish Code. The Money Code, Becoming a Millionaire with the Ancient Jewish Code, and one is Getting Rich, W.D. Wattles. Right, that hurts my ego. Why not retire rich, invest rupees 40 a day? That book may be slightly out of print, I'm not sure. So maybe I should rewrite it now. Invest maximum time in your career. That is again good advice, because at a young age, the ability to increase your income earning capacity by learning communication skills or whatever, all those things are also important. So just don't think money, money, money. Yes, money is important, but two words very closely connected are earning and learning. So initially you spend a lot of time learning, which then translates into earning. So in your 20s and 30s, yes, you should be saving, you should be investing, there is no doubt about that, but this is also the time to be enjoying. This is also the time to be maybe making a Europe trip, making a Himalaya trip, right? Finding out those things, because suddenly when you wake up at 38 or 39 and say you want to travel, you realize that you are no longer fit enough to climb the Himalayas. If you wake up at 65, you may realize that you can't even do the Everest base camp, right? So it depends on when you wake up. So find that purpose in life, what you want to do, what you enjoy doing, how to increase your wealth, right? All those things are important at this stage. I'm still not gone to that one single piece of advice, but if you ask me, that one single piece of advice is goal setting. Find out what are your goals. Please remember, goals will change. When you are 5 years old, you wanted a shiny red color bike. At 45, you may want a shiny Ferrari, right? So your goals will keep changing, but make sure that you have some goals at that point in time, so that you know why you are earning money and what your money has to do for you. Draw a budget, understand inflow, outflow, correct? Understanding accounting, stick to the budget, invest money beyond that. Don't go for instant gratification. Partly true, partly false. Avoid debt, save more, invest prudently. Chinmay says, earn, invest, and then spend, and not the other way around of spending and then earning. Well, it depends, because today to tell somebody that you should not be borrowing money to buy a car seems to be terrible advice, but this was good advice, say 20 years back. 40 years back, it was good advice to say buy a house, only what you can afford, don't have to borrow. But then 1977 and HDFC happened, and everybody now, it is impossible to think of somebody who is not borrowed money to buy a house, buy an office, even buy a car, right? Very few people are saying, okay, I'll liquidate my equity portfolio to buy a car, because I don't know whether that's good advice, but I'm just saying people like to spend their future income rather than their past income. Avoid borrowing money, even from family members, friends, etc., when they ask you to buy land or real estate, whatever. So understanding all various asset classes is also important. Read the psychology of money. I agree and disagree, because I think it's easier to follow Morgan Housel on his on his Twitter handle and on his website more than the book. Book is static. Remember, I mean, I'm not saying don't read the book. Do read the book, but following Morgan Housel is far more useful than just reading the book. So read the book and follow Morgan Housel is better advice. Invest in yourself, invest in travel, improve your living standard, invest the balance in instruments that don't give you sleepless nights. I think learn to manage the volatility in equity is more important than to say, oh, I'm getting sleepless nights. You're getting sleepless nights because you don't understand. You don't understand the risk of not investing. Therefore, you think investing is risky. I would like to advise that never go broke to impress someone else. Here it is. Here is somebody saying don't worry about what others say, which is good advice. Good things take time. Start now, stay long, which is true, because when I talk to doctors, I tell them building a portfolio of clients or building a portfolio of shares, both take time. It takes 20-25 years to build a good practice. It takes 20-25 years to build a good portfolio. It's not going to be easy because you're going to earn, you're going to invest, you're going to sell, you have to make mistakes, and that's how a portfolio gets built. Start SIP in an index fund, start SIP in an SIP, keep doing SIP, get a term plan, personal health insurance. Please remember, personal health insurance, yes, people need it, but term insurance, not everybody needs it. So if you are a rich boy and married a rich girl, both have parents who are financially independent, and you have decided not to have children, perhaps you have to relook and say, do you need term insurance at all? If you are not going to take a loan, if you have already bought a house and you have repaid the loan, do you need it, right? So but at 22, if you have decided not to buy a house and your parents are rich, maybe you don't need term insurance. Just think about it, because at 22 you may not have decided whether to get married also, so it's too early to decide about term insurance. But rethink about term insurance. Not everybody needs term insurance. As an insurance salesman, I would like to say everybody needs term insurance, but that's not always true. Ashwin Singh Chadha, I'm very happy, he says subscribe to Subramani on YouTube. I don't know how useful it is for a 22-year-old, because by the time the 22-year-old really has money to invest, etc., by the time he's 30-32, Subramani.com may not exist, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Buy a term insurance, do an SIP for 5 years, reduce expenses, don't borrow. All this is good advice, but I don't know whether, don't take unnecessary loans, invest with PV Subramani. Now that's a good advice, but then I'm not an advisor, so that doesn't really help. Save and invest regularly. जीवन में सभी सुख की अनुभूति करो, बाद से सारा पैसा अगले जन्म के लिए बचाना ही है. SIP, focus on active income. Never give the thought of starting SIP or investment until you reach 30 lakhs per annum. Purchase a term insurance for 1 crore. Now this is all terrible advice, simply because somebody may not need 1 crore term insurance and somebody may need 10 crore term insurance. So just say I take adequate term insurance rather than say take 1 crore term insurance. 1 crore used to be a big number long back. 30 years back when I started life, it used to be a big number. It no longer ain't, right? Focus on one thing and become good at it rather than diversifying. Nobody has given this advice, but if you are 22 and your parents are prosperous and you are rich, or you are earning well, very good chance that some of your friends are doing a startup. Maybe decide to join them, maybe decide to fund them, right? If you have money, right, you may be able to do only an SIP, you may be able to give them money on the monthly basis, whatever. Find out that possibility also. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Save first, spend later. Hire a good financial advisor. Coming pretty late, but I think that's very important. If you are not interested in sitting on your Saturday, Sundays and wondering which has got a high standard deviation, is standard deviation risk and all those things, hire a good financial advisor. If you're 22, hire a 40-year-old financial advisor. If you're 60, hire a 40-year-old financial advisor, because he'll give you new perspectives, and by 60 you really know what to do. So this person will have enough energy to handle you and enough maturity to handle you, and will not be like an impetuous 22-year-old, which you may not have the patience at 62 to handle a 22-year-old. Before delving into individual stocks, it is advisable to begin with index stocks. Fine. See how much is ever possible, how much saving is possible. NPS account kholo and start saving early for longevity. I don't agree that you need to open an NPS. I don't like a government scheme which is NAV oriented, right? It's very difficult to enter such schemes. But So I'm finding two types of advice. One is on the saving side, save more kind of thing, spend less, save more thing. Another one is the investment side, saying invest more. Somebody is saying follow free FinCal, don't follow Subra unless you have at least 1 crore, right? Any of those things. So a lot of such advice is available. Avoid debt. Lot of people saying avoid the debt. People saying earn lots of money, but I think concentrating on yourself in your 20s, concentrating on yourself, on your friends, trying to join a startup, all those things you should consider before saying, oh my god, I want to do an SIP. 22 at the age of 22 doing an SIP, is it good? Well, it's good even if you started at 18 with your pocket money. Nothing right or wrong, but it is an important thing to consider other possibilities of saying, can I invest in a friend's startup, can I join a friend's startup, right? All those things are necessary. Also understand that even for early retirement, for somebody like me, it is important to find a purpose in life. So whether I go running, whether I go cycling, join a gym or swimming or traveling, you need to have a purpose. You cannot just be saying, oh, my money is compounding, my money. You can't look at your portfolio every day and say, oh, my portfolio went up by so much. It doesn't really matter, right? You have to have that end purpose of life. So I have X amount which I need for the rest of my life. Actually I need X for the rest of my life. I have 5X, so therefore I should be doing this. Or so there is a huge amount of comfort. So creating all that. But will you bother a 22-year-old with all this? Answer is no. Right? So yeah, I think that's it. Stay away from influencers. That's a good advice. Work on what will give you good fun. If necessary to take a loan, know how you will repay. That's good. Save as much money as possible in the early years and put it in equity. Number of years of exponential compounding is very important, which is true. Do not interrupt compounding. I will say start investing through index and then move to investing in stocks. Well, each person, like when I started investing, there was nothing called an index, and also this index investing is a new phenomena, and last 5 years large cap funds, many large cap funds have underperformed the index, but that will always happen. If you have 1000 funds which are doing large cap, chances are the index fund will be ranked number 10, which means 990 funds, or if there are 1000 funds, 990 funds could be behind the index, right? But the top 10 may not be the index. So understand, as managed funds keep increasing, index fund performance will improve. So you choose what you want. I mean, I have very little money in index funds, but I do suggest index funds for people who don't want to sit, work and learn. Thank you.